Hi everyone, this is Hey Stella with Mihaela. I am doing this session today because the list of the nominees for the Oscars came out, and I was looking at some of them which are evidence of their great work behind it, but then there are others that I have not seen, and there are others that I have seen and are being given credit, which I do not understand why. I wonder who those people are who vote, because some of them I feel they have no idea of what the process of actors is, or what to look for, what the formula is in the creative process of the actors, especially, or the direction, or the overall best picture. I don't know who these people are. Do they have credentials? Do they call themselves experts? What are they experts in? It doesn't make any sense to me. It makes no freaking sense to me. The ones that I'm really agreeing with, and the ones that I'm really so excited, which I have already seen and I knew for sure they were going to be nominated, are Kristen Stewart in Spencer. She's nominated for Best Actress, as she should. The reason why I think that was a correct choice, instead of always making completely stupid choices because they don't understand the work of the actors or the creative process. I already said Kristen Stewart was going to be nominated even before I saw the movie. And the reason why I knew that that was going to be the case is because, having been in this profession and teaching acting, especially, more so than being an actress, but teaching acting has taught me to be able to observe what elements in the formula are the tools that will take that actor to the award nominations. And only from the trailers, only from the small clips that I had seen of Spencer, I knew, because of her allowing herself to tap into something of herself, the person, Kristen Stewart, rather than try to imitate the character that she's portraying, the real life human being, Princess Diana. When an actress is capable and is aware of doing that, that will put them on the path to the award shows. What do I mean by that? For those of you out there who are not in this field and do not know how in practice this creative process works, there's one example in the film where she allows herself to dance. There's a dance moment, which in acting we call a private moment. You are allowing the audiences to see into the private persona, something that the actress, more so than the character, will reveal of herself. And by revealing something that is private of herself, Kristen Stewart, then we get glimpses into the private persona of the character, Princess Diana. It doesn't matter that we have images of Princess Diana from real life dancing in the halls of the castle in England. The director in this case, plus the actress Kristen Stewart, came up with the technique called private moment to reveal something of Kristen Stewart, therefore knowing that they're going to reveal something, allowing the creativity, giving artistic license to that character is what they did, which is using the imagination to go into a person, even though that person was a real character, a real human being. You're allowing the creators, you're giving yourselves the permission to go beyond what was known of Princess Diana. So when Kristen Stewart does the dance, that private moment is one of the keys, one of the elements, one of the techniques, part of this formula that I'm talking about, which will then bring those actors to the awards. Most times than not, the private moment in a film will take that actor or actress to get nominated for an award. The second person who got nominated, and I'm really happy that she did, was Nicole Kidman, who I am mentioning second after Kristen Stewart, because in Being the Ricardos, everybody thought when she was cast that she was probably the least to resemble the real Lucille Ball. But again, give it to the fantastic director and his knowledge in understanding that true artists, true actors do not have to look like the character, do not have to imitate the character they're portraying. Fine. They have to be great artists themselves to be able to tap into their essence that's going to resemble the essence of the character, even if the physical appearance doesn't resemble that, or even if majority of the people do not have enough of an imagination to be able to see beyond the characteristics which are visible, which are the physical characteristics. So when she was chosen to play Lucille Ball, I already knew that she was going to be able to come up with something extraordinary because she knows the work and because she works with an acting coach. She works with a very famous acting coach. She mentions her sometimes, not all the time, but I knew that she was going to be able to tap into that character, even if she does not look like the character on the outside. And again, the technique of the formula in Being the Ricardos is tap into something of what Nicole Kidman tapped into that was completely other than anything that she's tapped into herself for any of the other characters that she's ever played. Very difficult to do because average actors tend to go to what they know. They stay with the comfort zones that they tend to go to. They depend on habits that over years of being in this career as actors, they find easy to go to. And the one thing that makes the difference between those average actors and the great actors, in this case, Nicole Kidman, is that fact that she will always try to tap into some different part of herself as personality goes, as personal territory goes, that she has not tapped into. So she reveals a new side of herself in the character in Being the Ricardos. Tapping into something that you have not tapped into for the other characters will attract the audience because it will be something that will surprise you as the audience, but it's only because she surprised herself as the actress. So again, the reason that she was able to do that is because she's a great actress. She knows how to do the work. The moment I knew that she was going to be nominated for this, it was because of the revelation in the movie of the work that the character Lucille Ball was known to do. She was so in detail about understanding what the scenes in the I Love Lucy series were about. She was more than just an actress in that show. She was searching in the movie, if you watch it, for the truth in every scene of the series that was so popular, I Love Lucy, which was something that I did not know. I did not know that she had such an impact outside of just being the main character and the main actress and having the show named after her. She was a powerful, creative human being, not only as an actress, but as a producer. She would not let moment to moment beats from the scenes to go without having them be justified. So the second technique, the second tool in this formula that will get you to the award shows is justify everything that happens in front of the camera. If you do not have a justification for it, for each moment, for each beat, the show is going to be horrible. The show went on for so long and it was loved by so many people because those moment to moment, detailed, in-depth look into, she was always pushing for finding the truth and finding the reason to why they're doing them. I don't want to give away many things from the film, but you will watch and just pay attention and see what an incredible mind, what an incredible visionary she happened to be, in the way that she was actually on top of the show, outside of her just being an actress, as I said. For example, if I'm sitting here and I'm talking into the camera, why am I talking into the camera? Why am I talking to you right now in the way that I'm talking to you right now? Because I want to deliver something that's probably going to, I don't know, give something to someone that's going to listen. So I'm doing it for the reason of wanting to make somebody understand a little bit more this creative process that not a lot of people tend to talk about, or they do, but they talk about it in a way that's superficial, and they don't go into the details of these techniques that I'm actually describing to you. Private moment, Kristen Stewart. Justification, searching for the truth in every beat of the scene, which is what Nicole Kidman does in her work, because Lucille Ball did it in her work. As soon as I saw that, I said, she's going to be nominated. Bravo to those two. The third one, going to the man category for Best Actor, is Denzel Washington in The Tragedy of Macbeth. And I am so glad that he did get recognized for the work, because what he was able to bring to that role, and I don't think that Frances McDormand, she wasn't nominated, and I knew that she wasn't going to be nominated. I don't think she was nominated. Let me just make sure. Adapted screenplay, best supporting actor, best actress. Denzel Washington, The Tragedy, best actor, best director, best actor, best picture. Where's best actresses? Best actor, best actress. Jessica Chastain, Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, Kristen Stewart. Yes, she was not. I was so happy that Denzel Washington got the respect that he deserves in this role, because what he was able to do, even though it's a Shakespeare play, classically trained actors, when going into Shakespeare, they are able to bring the language and to make the language alive. But I think what he was able to do, outside of the rest of the actors, including Frances McDormand, he was able to bring the behavior to a level of real, everyday behavior of a person still speaking the language of Shakespeare and paying the respect that the language of Shakespeare needs. He was allowing himself to be a human being, bringing himself, the actor, up to the character, to the power and to the greediness and to the ugliness of this character in a way that we all felt for him. His behavior was so filled and it was so complex and so detailed, still able to give the reverence that the language of Shakespeare needs. I thought what Frances McDormand was lacking was that original, that the language of Shakespeare needs. Very difficult to do. I thought what Frances McDormand was lacking was that original, real human comportment that she has in other films that she portrayed before. I felt that the language was giving her this superficiality that she wasn't able to get away from, or she wasn't able to put into the realness of who the character was, because she wasn't allowing herself to be real. She was on the surface of this role because of the language, because the language is not casual, everyday language that people communicate in, where Denzel Washington was able to feel it, that he made it seem like it's everyday language, because he allowed his behavior to be what was leading him. And the words came when that behavior was not sufficient and there needed more tools to be at his disposal, and the tool of the language was the last that he went to. Where the other characters, I felt that they spoke first and then the behavior was trying to come after. But Denzel Washington is not an average actor. He is an extraordinary actor, and he was perfect in that role. So bravo, Denzel Washington. Yes. Okay, so there's Denzel Washington, his formula for the red carpet, for him going to the red carpet on the red carpet, is real behavior. Even when the poetry of the language might take you in a direction that can keep you superficial, he's able to create the realness of the human being, therefore giving this beautiful poetic language a casual, everyday, understood words. There we go. The next one that I want to talk about, Jessica Chastain in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which is based on a real character again. No, I'm just realizing that the ones that I talked about, Nicole Kidman based on a real character, Spencer based on a real character by Kristen Stewart, and now Jessica Chastain, which is based again on a real human being. She was the wife of this very known preacher. They were the first to be the preachers who became known outside of their church and becoming rich and famous, and the preachers that everybody was tuning in to see and sending the money. And then there was a huge commotion that was happening where I believe there was money fraud or something, and the preacher guy, the husband, who's played by Andrew Garfield, which I thought was really, really good. Andrew Garfield was really good in that, and I don't think he was getting the attention that he deserved for that role, but I think it is due to the fact that he also did another film he was nominated for Best Actor, called Tick Tick Boom, which I discussed in the last episode. And I think that him being nominated for that kind of took away the conversation about him in the one with Jessica Chastain. I know from interviews that I've watched of Jessica Chastain that she talked about wanting to do this for a long time. It took her about 10 years, I think, in order to get this project going. She was very involved in it. She does the work. She's one of those great actors. And from something that she had posted on Instagram, you can see that she has the script where she breaks everything down in the script. She goes beyond what, again, average actors do. So as soon as I saw it, I knew that she was going to be nominated for it. Due to the same techniques that I mentioned before, she allowed glimpses into herself as the actress to be revealed like never before, to find inside of her that essence of the character, rather trying to imitate the character. She was so vulnerable. She was so real in all her nuances, rather than just judge the character because the character ends up in a huge scandal due to her husband. But she decided as an actor, which is very difficult to do, to not judge the character, to experience all of the character's humanity. So she's allowing no judgment. Wouldn't that be nice if we were able to do that in everyday life, to not judge people? And the same way that the actors are asked not to judge their characters. What a great lesson to learn. I am very pleased that the formula that I have and I recognize tends to be concrete every year when the whole craziness about the nominations starts to happen. The other one that I saw, which of course brings me back to Bradley Cooper, every road brings me to Bradley Cooper because of my history going back to our master's program and being in the same class. Bradley Cooper in Nightmare Alley. I did not think from the trailers that that movie was going to be something that was going to captivate the audiences. I wasn't even going to watch it because I think they chose the wrong trailers to actually get the people to be interested in. And then I just happened to watch it 2 nights ago, and am I glad I did watch it, because it was beautifully done. It was so beautifully done by Bradley Cooper. And again, him unafraid to be able to bring the method, the actor studio training that he has to every character that he portrays, and to watch it and to recognize some of his specific details that he goes to, having seen him in our work, in our classes, it's just breathtaking to know that he's still depending, that he's still going as deep, as personal into trying to be the character, or trying to allow himself to find a character within himself by using the same techniques, by using the same methods, by paying attention to details, the same way that we were taught some 20 some years ago when we were in class together. And to watch this movie, to watch him having to comport himself in a way that I have not seen him until this role. The movie takes place in the 1930s, beginning of 1940s, 1939, 1941. And going back to the costumes, that will give you a different posture in the way that you represent the character. Back to using the hat again, folding of the handkerchief that he has, which he later talks in one of his interviews about how that came to him because his grandfather in his real life used to do that. Takes this handkerchief and it's paying so much detailed attention to it. And then he puts it in his hat. And every time he puts on the hat, he taps the front of it. Like these specific details will give you that feeling when watching that he's a real human being, a real character. And the subject of this film, oh my God, it just made me realize that there's such a link between the mentalist that he plays in this movie. He plays a mentalist. They show the workings behind the scene of how they learn to be able to read what's in people's minds, which has everything to do with techniques, the same as acting does. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that when we see the movies being done with these actors in them, we see the finished result. The same thing with the mentalist character that he's playing. There's so much work. And if you guys want to see how this work is being done, it was the first time where I have actually seen what happens and how the training goes for those people in those magical shows in the circus. I was even thinking, wow, that's so strange that they would allow for such a movie to actually reveal the secrets behind the magic that we happen to only see as the final product. In so many ways, there was such a link between the two of them, which was so fascinating to me. I don't know if anybody saw the link between the two, between the work behind the scenes of the mentalist, the same as the work behind the great actors and the techniques and the formula that I spoke of. Yeah, so he was nominated, which thank God he was, because he is brilliant as always. I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. This is Hey Stella with Mihaela. Thanks, guys.